And you have to have something to aspire to. You have to have something in front of you that you can constantly affirm to yourself that you're going to have one day.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And then that way you have goals, you have targets that you can meet and you can hit. And if you don't have those things, if you're just like wandering around, going with the flow all the time,
Right.
sometimes you're going to miss what you're aiming to get,
Mm.
right? And sometimes it's not a bad thing to kind of go with the flow a little bit, and like Bruce Lee says, become water, right? But there's
Yeah,
a time and a
absolutely.
place for that. But if you have no direction, then you're gonna be like a leaf blowing back and forth in the wind,
Yeah.
and that's how you let life drag you.
Hey, welcome back. My name's Tim Branyan. I'm with the ISBDC and proud to be here right in Vision Studio. They're behind the camera making all this happen and hosting this awesome space. So, in collaboration with SBDC, IEDC, and our Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance, just proud to put this on and highlight awesome entrepreneurs, leaders, support organizations. Today, I'm joined with Art McDonald. And Art just isn't just an advisor. He's an entrepreneur himself. He came from the entertainment industry, built real-world experience, and now works hands-on with business owners at every stage. He's helping them gain clarity and build businesses that last. So I'm excited to unpack your journey. My colleague, normally we get to hang out, not as often, right? Like
Right.
maybe there's an event in Indy or something happening with the SBDC, and I always love seeing you. And then we sometimes maybe or maybe not go get a cigar, and you guide me on which one to get. But thanks for making the trip down here, man. I'm excited
Yeah.
to dig in. If you wouldn't mind, just kind of introduce yourself and talk a little about where you've been and what
Sure.
you're doing now in Evansville.
Yeah, sure, man. I appreciate it. First of all, I would be remiss if I didn't say thanks again for allowing me to be here, man. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you, bro.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So Art McDonald, I started, well, how far back do you want to go?
Let's
I mean,
go back, man. Let's go
I don't
back to
want to.
Detroit. Let's go back
All right,
to,
nah.
you
All right.
know.
I give you the truncated version. So, from Detroit, Michigan, I have a television film background, also radio broadcast background. Done a few shows there. I've lived in Detroit from about 1990 all the way up to 2018. Prior to that, I grew up in New Jersey, about a 10-minute drive from New York City in a place called Hackensack. If anybody is familiar, that's where I'm
You said
from.
hacky sack?
Hackensack.
Hackensack.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Bergen County, New Jersey. So that will explain the accent because I confuse a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Hackensack.
like, hey, I hear a little Joe Pesci in there. But 2018, my wife, along with our two sons, moved down to Evansville, and that's where we kind of set up shop. By the time we moved down there, I had already teed up a nice marketing company that I was running. It's a boutique firm. And because technology was a lot better during that time, I
Mhm.
was able to still operate, between Michigan and Indiana. So it worked out. It was cool. And the community in Evansville really embraced us, bro. So,
Yeah.
couldn't ask for a better situation.
Very good. How many kiddos you got?
So I have three altogether.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna date myself. I'm gonna show you my age a little bit. So I have a 29-year-old daughter who just got married last year, 19-year-old son, and a 17-year-old son.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
And so prior entrepreneur in the entertainment space, still an entrepreneur, right? Like how you
Yeah.
think and how you operate and how you're, but talk a little bit about now who you're serving and getting involved with like SBDC.
Sure. Yeah.
And for those that don't, I always repeat, like, what is SBDC, right?
Yeah. And everybody has a different version too, right? So yeah. So currently I'm with the Small Business Development Center down in Southwest Indiana. My role there is a navigator. So what I do, and I always tell people, is like triage. We find out where your challenges are, we find out where your difficulties are, and we connect you to the right resources at the right time, right?
Yep.
And all of our resources are free and confidential. So, it makes it easier on whoever comes to us. But yeah, so looking to always help entrepreneurs, and it's just great to be an entrepreneur myself, knowing where some of the challenges lie and exist, and I can help people overcome some of the pitfalls because I've been there,
Right.
So you know how it is, Tim, right?
Experiential.
The
Yep.
experience, right? So just being able to, use my entrepreneurial lens a lot of times when I assist people, by connecting them to the things that they need. Sometimes they can express what they need, sometimes they don't. So you kind of got to help them,
Right.
holding hands and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think this role with the SBDC is a great role because, for entrepreneurs, we fit right in.
Right.
It's like a hand in glove.
I've loved it. So a lot of the questions that I get right away is like, well, how is it free? Right? Like people tend to shy away from free.
Right.
So maybe just describe like how someone able to come in and it doesn't even cost them anything, right? To consult.
Right.
Uh,
Well, we're under the SBA umbrella,
yep.
so it's all funded by the feds, by the federal government. So, and we have in our area, we have some funders like that we've partnered with
Yep.
that give us, some funds here and there. But the bulk of the funding comes from the government.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people just ask, well, wait, free. What's the catch, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what I had to do. I think that's for our office, one of our biggest obstacles, and I'm saying this nationally, is that folks don't know who we are, and we're not necessarily the logical first choice
Right.
to go and sit down with. And I look back at my entrepreneurial journey, it's like, man, I wish I knew who my advisor was, you know, 10, 12 years ago when I was first starting out or first sort of getting involved. I would have got so much help with, just what is an LLC, or how do I go about setting this up, or
Right.
hey, I want to get certified in this. Could you help me with this? I just would have had, maybe sticky notes with some action items
Oh,
that I
yeah.
could have used.
Right.
But just the awareness of it, right? I sort of, like others, accidentally found the office. So my hope is after the show, right, more people are finding you that are out in that Evansville area, your region.
Yeah.
Do you guys, like over there in Evansville, do you guys have a plethora of clients that are coming in, or is it more staggered? Is it
It's all of the above.
okay?
Word of mouth in a place like Evansville and the surrounding area goes a long way.
Okay.
People know each other. They grew up together there, so there's tons of relationships that matter to one another. And a lot of times they share information over the dinner table on a Sunday evening, right? And so we get a few that come to us. And then again, that's why I think this role, being a navigator, is so unique because we're outreach, as it's been explained, our role is the tip of the spear. So we go out there and, it just helps with intake. A lot of people don't know that we exist. So we're able to go out there and be a part of, town hall meetings, city council, meetings that are being held in higher education and all those places where potential entrepreneurs and support organizations for entrepreneurs exist, and a lot of times if we're perched as an office, we don't see all that, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, this is a good way. Our role is a good way to mobilize the office, as I always say.
The sort of fan out, right?
Yeah.
So just recently here in Howard County, we partnered with Indiana University Kokomo, and I've been working out of their
That's
building.
a great partnership.
It's been cool just to be in their space and already be having conversations with students that have ideas or maybe don't even realize that they are entrepreneurs already. Some folks that are in their gaming, their esports center, they have a whole gaming center with all these computers. And
so they have an esports team and all
esports team.
Nice.
And I was talking to some of those guys, and they're familiar with Twitch and streaming platforms. And I was like, are you guys doing anything with film, or like collecting your audio and video, like putting together clips, and just sort of triggering some ideas on how they might create some more awareness about the team, and just asking them questions too. But they're very entrepreneurial. I'd say maybe more intrapreneurial minded right now. They're inside this program doing this, but they don't necessarily know yet that that it's possible for them, right, to monetize this later, take this skill or take this media, right, and do other things with it. So
and that's why people like us are very instrumental in helping craft the strategies for that and
100%.
understand it. We plant the seeds.
Just the catalyst, plant a seed to maybe share some different ideas. But one of my favorite things is to share connections, right? So as I'm just now starting to host office hours at IUK, I'm hosting those office hours with industry. I'm bringing folks in, and we're having a coffee and in the space where they can see IUK, or if there's faculty that runs around, I can make a quick introduction.
That's dope.
Or, again, be that fan out of our office, that resource connector. And it's hard, we're sort of in this challenging phase now at work. I'll be transparent, where we're figuring out, okay, well, how do we showcase the value of what we do as navigators or as SBDC personnel. So just raw thoughts, man. I mean, we can just have this conversation out loud. I know we've been doing it as a team, but what are the things that if we could just showcase, right, or even talk about now that people should know about our role
Mhm.
and why it does matter?
Well, again, we're kind of like the tie that binds, if you will.
Hmm.
We're the piece that goes from one end to the other, right? So we can get information from the state, even nationally, because again, we're connected to the government, the federal government. So from a national, statewide, even regional level, we can get all that information and we disseminate it to the local community, right?
Right.
And so there's a significance there with the importance of what we do.
Hmm.
And even to take it a step further in reverse, right? We can, like I said, we're in city council meetings, we're in all these other meetings. So we take that information back to
Right.
state, regional, state, government, federal government, whenever we get the chance,
Right.
like those SBDC national conventions, right?
Mm.
Yeah, which are cool, by the way,
The
right?
ASBDC, right? That really
Right,
kind of shows you the power of the network when everybody shows up. I
right.
think it's in Atlanta this next year.
Right. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, even for us to be in those gatherings, to hear what other people in our roles,
Right. The
or
success
similar roles,
stories.
right. And
Yep.
to see what works, to see what didn't work and things like that. I mean, that's just a great opportunity for us to be present. And, but yeah, I think that's the significance of our role, that
Right.
we play as navigators to be able to be cognizant of what's going on, so we could use that and not gatekeep.
Because there's so many things, right? Like
Right.
people don't know, and every region's different, every
Mm.
county's different. So it's like we're set up across the state. How many navigators are there total
It's
now?
10 total, right?
10 total,
Yeah.
and we each have different sectors. If we took the state of Indiana, we could map it all out. And my area, Hoosier Heartland, is different than like the Evansville area, right?
Right.
Obviously, and so I know my area because I've been here for
Mhm.
it'll be 3 years in April.
Mhm.
Um, but what's unique is that we get exposed to tools, resources, and sort of how we're already positioning our minds when we hear things or learn about tools and resources, such as like, Purdue has this amazing um, sort of experiential learning opportunities with their engineering departments, with their data mine, with their Purdue Innovates, and they're looking actively to help students get connected to industry.
Mhm.
Well, we know the department heads of those groups or those opportunities. So connecting employers or connecting city personnel, government leaders to those connections can be catalytic.
Yeah.
And I think that's often the hard part to just sort of tell that story of what's happening when you're connecting. How do you write that metric down? It's one of those things that just gets done. It's like we're out doing things, um, and it's hard to sort of tell that story at times, like that catalytic effect. And it's because sometimes it kind of goes unquantified,
Right.
right? We really don't know what happens all the time fully with just one introduction. And sometimes you're one introduction away from changing your whole life,
Right.
or
Yeah, that's
changing
the
the whole
truth.
trajectory of something,
Right.
hopefully for the positive. But it's like, that's what we do, I think, is we go and create those connections, those tactical connections, with the heart and the mindset of like, we want this to be profitable. We're aiming for this to be an introduction that's impactful for that support org, that individual, that entrepreneur.
Mhm.
But man, I want to highlight you as an entrepreneur, and because you and I have had multiple conversations where we're just thinking out loud on ways that could be beneficial for a client, or opportunities that are arising, and um, you know in change that's happening around you.
Right.
Where did when did you notice that you thought differently?
That's a great question, by the way. So back in, I want to say 2010, maybe 2009, Michigan had a film tax incentive, and it was like the first time anything like that has ever come to the state, right? And so, you don't mind if I get comfortable, right?
No, please, please,
Yeah.
man. You're
So,
making me your voice chills me out, man.
yeah,
I'm gonna get comfortable too.
yeah. All right. And so, anyway, so there was a lot of film activity going on, in Michigan and in particular in the Detroit area, so I was able to work on a lot of films during that time. And, as a as a PA production assistant. And, they're kind of considered the low rungs on the ladder, but just being there, understanding how things work, being earshot from a conversation that some producers are having, we would get big budgeted films, $50 million,
Mm,
and just to be in the rooms where these people are and just learning and hearing those things. And sometimes, even being a part of some of the decision making, that's why I kind of learned how to see things differently and think differently too. And as a result of that, a business partner and I, we teed up a business called World Vision Ventures, which was what we did. We went and found funding or capital for a lot of film producers who were looking to get their films out, right?
yeah.
And then so we would connect them with a lot of the funders, so hedge fund managers, private equity, people who were in that space, just people who had money, you're right. And like I said, being in the middle of these things really is the tie that binds. You learn a lot. You're in a position of decision making too,
Mm,
on how you want to, give that information and how you should present it,
sure.
right? Without degrading the opportunity, right? And so being in that business that we drummed up was really where, I had an epiphany, because strategy is what it's all about.
Right.
Who can I build relationships with, right? And so relationships in that business, the entertainment world, matters, like film, all that, those relationships matter in that industry.
Mm,
And so as a result of, being there, I learned how to maximize the potential in everything. And I also learned that relationships are very important. So
mm,
how can I strategically make great relationships and give more than I take, right?
yeah.
Reciprocity is important. So yeah, that's how I understood to see things differently.
So, and that's awesome. I totally agree. The relationships and giving more than you take, sort of that service before self mentality,
Right.
is just a successful characteristic. You know. Um, what about, like, I'm just immediately think about Indiana's landscape when it comes to World Vision Ventures.
Mm.
Are there companies here that are doing this in Indiana? What's it look like? Like the geography, right? Is there an opportunity that maybe we don't know about?
Yeah. Yeah, listen, man, we've done that business for about 4 or 5 years until I got jaded,
Mm,
and decided to. And then they pulled the tax incentive too, which was a huge loss for us at that time in the
maybe
state.
talk about that tax incentive. So there
Yeah.
was.
So the tax incentive was, I think it was a 50% tax incentive where if you come with a film production, so we get a lot of production companies from Hollywood or
Mm,
from Atlanta, even New Orleans, to do a film in Michigan, some parts of the film there. And whatever you spend, you get 50% of that back as an incentive, so that began to become lucrative, and we had a lot of films that ended up in Michigan because of it. And I don't know, they pulled the rug from under the feet of everyone who was involved. I don't know why, what the rhyme or reason was, but neither nonetheless, it's no longer there, and it was a huge loss. And you could see where places like Atlanta and Georgia, where they prosper from those type of things. New Orleans now, Louisiana is another state that you're going to see starting to take off because of it. And now, as it pertains to Indiana, I believe we have a film incentive here, but I don't know, where it is right now, because I don't think it's very. I don't think there's a lot of activity
mm,
going on around it just yet. But if we can figure it out to give it the boost that it needs, we can be killing it here too,
yeah.
right?
So I'm
There's a lot of
curious.
talent here, man.
Tons of talent. I'm curious. Like, I'm guessing the tax incentive was to grow or perpetuate the arts,
Mhm.
right? I'd have to look it up to sort of understand, but that
Yeah, and it had
sounds.
a huge economic impact too, as it bring more money to the state.
Right. Well, you said
Yeah.
50 million for a project. I mean, that's a pretty significant
Yeah, that's just
amount
a
of
number right
dollars.
there. Because I mean, they can go all the way up. You know, film
Right.
budgets, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's a standard, like an average film budget?
I don't know. It depends, man.
See, that's why
You
I need
know,
a TV here. If we had a
I know
TV,
you
I
break
could,
the stats
yeah,
out,
just
right?
start asking and start
Yeah,
get a little. I might do
get some
that.
chat on it.
Yeah.
So AI.
Vision can make it happen.
Yeah.
Vision Studio can make this happen.
Oh,
I
I
think.
already know. It looks, man. You guys look well equipped here. I love it.
I'm so blessed, man, just to have this here, like in our backyard
Yeah.
and in the Hoosier Heartland region. Shout out to Ahmad and the team. It's just been super cool just to spotlight typically like entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Government leaders, municipal leaders, folks that just have a cool story to share,
Mhm.
or resource providers, right? Other ESOs or support organizations. Bringing them on has helped us create some awareness for our office and our team,
Right.
but then also just tell the story of entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
right? So then the goal is other entrepreneurs are inspired to maybe do it scared,
Hmm.
or
I
to
always tell people that do it scared. You know, I
right.
don't care
And
if your
it's
knees are shaking. Do
common,
it.
right? You're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. Maybe talk about that, like
Yeah.
a moment where you were sort of apprehensive and you did it anyway.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to park just for a second at the point where you said, you know, you shouted out Ahmad and Vision Studios. I mean, I think that's necessary,
Yeah,
you know, to give people their just deserves, you
the
know.
roses,
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, for you to even mention that and everyone else who's involved is great to, like you said, give them their flowers.
Yeah, proud of these
Um,
guys.
yeah, so when I started my first business, it took me 10 years to start, man.
Mm,
You know, and I was in a partnership at the time with well, when I finally got into business, it was a partnership with a buddy of mine in landscaping, right? And so for 10 years, I'm like defeating myself, you know, thinking I couldn't do it. Like you said, sometimes you don't get all the ABCs of how to do a business,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I'm thinking that I need all of that before I start anything, right?
Right.
And sometimes you do, it just depends, right? But it took me about 10 years, man. So by the time I got into the landscaping business, you know, of course, there's some nuances with everything, but I got in there, you know. I didn't know what to expect, you know, what this partnership was going to look like. Will it divide and tear our friendship up, you know, because
Mm.
it was a buddy of mine, you know, and it almost did, you know,
Right.
it almost did, you know, but I understood and I grew from that moment on too, you
Sure.
know, and we're still friends to this day. But yeah, sometimes you do have to build the plane in the air. You know, the main thing is don't forget to to build the wheels so
Right.
you can land it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's such an important lesson that you don't have to have it all figured out.
Mm,
It's okay to plan and sort of proceed,
mm,
um, and learn in the process.
right.
And that is every entrepreneur. I think about it like this. It's like we all get maybe what's the average? We get 80 years,
Yeah.
right? So who truly is an expert?
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like who really has it all figured out? The answer is no one.
right.
And giving yourself permission is, I think, is part of figuring it out. Like part of, just your own self discovery, pushing yourself to growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think that's getting back to relationships and sort of the power of community. When you have entrepreneurship community, you got friends you can talk with at your high highs or low lows or in
Right.
betweens. It's like that's going to help you stick and stay.
Right.
And there's a saying that I heard from a guy that was a mentor of mine early on. It's like stick and stay and you'll earn your pay. And it's just a nice like
Yeah.
reality. Okay, stick and
Yeah.
stay, earn your pay. I didn't really know what that meant fully, but there's been multiple times, right? Like as an entrepreneur that I've had to stick and bob and weave
Yeah.
and figure things out to hurdle. So just the importance of that sort of that mental toughness, that resilience.
Right.
I wish I knew where that came from, you know? Where do you think you got yours, you know?
So so you have to have intestinal fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to have that will and that desire, that grit. And a lot of times it's instilled in us from prior generations. You know, I watched my parents, my mother do her thing. I watched my dad do his. I watched family members. I watched neighbors get up and go to work, bust their butts all the time,
Mm.
you know. and develop a work ethic. Watching my grandmother and family members, everyone who were around me were great examples for me growing up. Like I said, I grew up in New Jersey, about a 10-minute drive from New York City. And this is during the 70s and 80s, bro. So this is a long time ago, right? But I watch people, in business attire in my neighborhood get on the train, commute to New York City and work. They were business people, they were bankers, they were lawyers, whatever, and then come back home. So when they take off, they're all buttoned up. They have their ties all tight. They have their attaché cases or briefcases, and they're off. They hop on the train.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, around like 5:30, 6 o'clock, you see them with their blazers off, their ties loosened up, and they're holding their cases over their shoulder. They had a day,
Yeah.
right? And wondering what they've gone through for it to be like that, and that's what I wanted to experience too,
Yeah.
right? And so those are the things that kind of led me more towards business than towards anything else.
Yeah. Me too. I remember growing up, and we would go to Indianapolis. We'd drive down Meridian, and I'd see these huge houses. I'd be in the back seat of our van. We had one of those great big vans that had the TV
Yeah.
and all the cabinets. It's like you were in a house, and
They had the
plush.
plush furniture.
You know
in
exactly
there.
what I'm talking about. Light
the
blue.
bubble window on the back of
The
it.
bed would go down the back. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Did it have the
actually
spoiler
really
on top?
nice. We didn't get the spoiler model, man.
Oh,
We didn't
all
have
right.
money like that. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
that's a. No, it was. I just remember being in that van, and it actually had curtains too. Funny enough, it had like velvet curtains that you could open up and a
Oh, that's
sliding
wild. Yeah.
window. And you would look out in Meridian, and still this way now. These massive houses. Some of them are mansions. Some of them are, they've been there a while, and beautiful lawns and big gates. And it used to blow my mind. I used to just wonder, what did you do? What do you do?
Right.
How could you possibly afford this house? And as a kid, I wasn't thinking about the mowing the lawn and the fuel just for the tractor, and all the logistics and home repair items and utilities and all these things. I was just simply looking at the physical
Right.
property, thinking, what do you do? And, that scratched my head on that topic for a long time, just wondering. And I thought at first it was just like, well, they must be a doctor or they must be a lawyer. It was just a job. And so that kind of set my fire to like this discovery, this curiosity. It's like, who are these people? Just like you're saying, who are these people in the suits?
Right.
Or who are these folks that are making impact? And I don't think I've ever stopped, like just being aggressively curious on that subject.
No, you can't stop.
Yeah, it's
you can't
just
stop.
like, well, what do you read? Who do you associate yourself with? What do you put into your body? Your ears, you know what I mean? Like your fluids, like what do you have going on? It's more aggressive curiosity. Whereas I think, for entrepreneurs or just people in general that have the opposite of that, it tends to be, instead of curiosity, it's like frustration or anger, right? And that's not serving you or the other person. Like, what I'm getting at is I think that curiosity is a successful attribute.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it sounds like both you and I were just wondering, right? Like, where did you go? What was your day like when those folks were coming back? You'd see them dress up and then come back. It's like, what's that like?
Right.
And then to be around folks that you've been around that are doing big deals in the entertainment space, it's like, to listen in and want to listen in and be curious. Being curious is a successful thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, to what you're saying, to your point, when you were young, when I was young, and we had these things in front of us that we admired and saw ourselves there one day, these were our vision boards.
Yeah.
And you have to have something to aspire to. You have to have something in front of you that you can constantly affirm to yourself that you're going to have one day. You know what I'm saying? And then that way you have goals, you have targets that you can meet and you can hit. And if you don't have those things, if you're just like wandering around, going with the flow all the time,
right.
Sometimes you're going to miss what you're aiming to get, right? And sometimes it's not a bad thing to kind of go with the flow a little bit, and like Bruce Lee says, become water, right? But there's a time and a place for that. But if you have no direction, then you're going to be like a leaf blowing back and forth in the wind,
Yeah.
And that's how you let life drag you, right?
No,
Nobody likes when life drags them, right? And
totally.
so you have to learn how to drag life, if that makes sense, right?
Love that. And for those that are maybe in a season when they're, maybe they've hit rock top, right? Let's say that they're doing so well that they sort of hit their goal, they got to their destination, and they're trying to figure out the next thing. Or let's take it the opposite way. Someone that feels like they've never really had their target or goal.
Mhm.
What are some things that they can do to sort of get into this creative or tactical space where they can get a plan in motion? What are some ideas?
Well, I can only really speak for myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I know what's working and I know what's not working, right? And so for me, it's just being led through my spirituality. So my belief in God really helps me to plan my direction and what my next thing is, because I understand in my life that, I have to build up the spiritual art,
Mm.
and let that lead, and then the physical art will follow, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that works for me. And I don't know, I think that anyone who has been in a position to be mightily blessed should also look at giving back.
Mm.
You know, I think that's an important thing. I just know that for me, reciprocity is important, and I make sure that whoever gives me whatever they think, they're able to give me, and I receive it,
Right.
then I give also, and a lot of times I give without an ask or whatever, because that's just, to me, the right thing to do. I
Mm-hmm.
will say this, and I just told my son this yesterday, my 19-year-old. This is a nugget that my father told me. He said, don't use everyone. Don't be a user, but you can find people useful, right?
Mm.
And so that means if you see talent in folks, and you can connect the dot for them, then connect the dot for them,
Right.
and maybe that's helpful to you, in return,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if we're a user, we deplete all the resources. We become a vampire, right?
Right.
And then, like, nobody likes that. They
Right.
run away when they see you coming.
Mm-hmm.
They try to find ways to defeat you and keep you away.
Yeah, they get the garlic out.
There you go, right? And I only like my garlic on pizza, not on me, right?
Breadsticks, pizza. I'm hungry. What time?
But what I'm saying is, yeah, for real. Like, if you find people useful, then they're not going to run. They're going to say, okay, well, yeah, I got talents that he may need. Let me go and see how I can help him build a bridge, and I could be a part of this big thing,
Right.
right? And then there's compensation and reward, whatever it is, as a takeaway from it, even knowing that we came together to accomplish that thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important. Once you have achieved, for those who have arrived, right, always look back to see who else you can bring along, right? Don't
Mm.
slam the door shut behind you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Love that. I think, it starts with like your purpose for listening. If your purpose for listening and engaging is to serve versus take,
Yeah.
like, you're going to be just fine in that environment. If you're truly listening with the intent to serve or give or connect, like for a prosperity purpose for that individual or that organization, whomever it is you get a chance to be around, like, and again, we're talking about reciprocity.
Right.
I think service is a part of, like, giving is a part of receiving.
Mhm.
And if you're out being that way, like, naturally, not synthetically, giving and empowering other people and sort of being that aggregate, or that support, right? And I think it does come back. Like, people
Oh,
naturally
yeah.
are looking for relationships with folks that truly care
Right.
and are authentic. So it's no wonder that you're able to so easily make friends, because, man, like, you really, I've seen you in action, whether we're out at events or just sort of listening to you talk to other teammates and people. It's like you're always listening to give your best advice or wisdom or direction,
Mhm.
and in a way that makes people feel not only calm and chill, like you sort of calm nervous systems. This,
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, bro.
it's true.
Yeah.
But you're also just really good, I think, naturally at connecting with people,
Yeah.
even complete
Well,
strangers.
same
I've
with you.
seen it.
Yeah, same with you,
I
man.
tried it. I feel like yours is natural. I study you from the side. Like, as you're going out and talking with folks, I'm like, man, it's just, you're good at sort of like getting folks to engage. And So it's just wonderful that you're in the position that you're in now, because you have that skill, which is not a normal skill, right? Where people can go into a room and meet strangers and turn them into friends.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
that's a powerful skill. But then also what you have to give them through SBDC and IEDC and all the resources that we're made aware of, it's hard again to quantify like what that's going to do for somebody,
Right.
if they do have the blessed opportunity to have a meeting with you or a cigar,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I
a
love
stogie
cigar
with you.
and coffee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, when I talk to people, I always tell them like, I'm one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet,
Mm,
and I mean that, right?
cool as
Because
a cucumber.
yeah. So here's my thing. I don't try to get caught up over stuff. I don't like a whole lot of drama because drama creates confusion. Confusion, nothing gets done,
Right.
right? And I know that I can only control things that I can control, and everything else I have to let things work out however it's going to work out as long as I know what I can do. And so, and plus, I have a marketing company, man. So I understand in marketing that stories are what leads.
Mm-hmm.
I can know a lot more about you if you tell me your story, and I
Right.
can relate to you. And so that's my thing. I'm always looking for somebody's story, right? And looking for an opportunity to share mine and then find the commonality between the two stories. And that's where we land,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the part that I stick to. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is what we have in common. Let's expound on it. And then there's the relationship that's fostering from that.
It's awesome. So we're going to share this video all across. We're going to syndicate it out all across different networks. But for
Mm,
folks specifically
yeah.
in Evansville that maybe are listening to this, um, what are you excited about in 2026
Mm.
in like your region? And um, how do they reach you guys over there in Evansville?
Yeah. So,
Kind of two questions there.
nah, so that's cool. The first one, the things that I'm excited about in 2026 is just the opportunity to get better based on what I've already gone through, right? Um, 2026 is a fresh start. It's 2025 is over. So what have we accomplished, and whatever it was, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? We can build off of those things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that opportunity. So it's like a whole new, I'm not gonna say a whole new fresh start, but it's at the next level, you know,
Yeah.
to see what's there to be explored. Ways that people can get in touch with us is, of course, going to the SBDC.org website and looking at whatever region that you want to get involved with. But if you're trying to connect with us, then you look at the Southwest region.
Okay.
And then once you click that Southwest region office, then you can see all of our team members, and you can set up an appointment to meet with us. Send us an email. There's our number right there. You can always reach out to me through email at asmcdonald at isbdc.org.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
you
then
can
you're on
always.
LinkedIn too, right?
Yeah, I'm on
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
Art
Yeah,
McDonald
right.
on LinkedIn. We
Yeah,
can put all that stuff in the chat too, or in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
in the
On the
category
lower third or something on the.
captions. What I meant to say. So for those listening to that, knowing about the SBDC, we help entrepreneurs. What types of businesses benefit most from sitting down with your office in your region?
That's a loaded question. I mean, all the businesses, because we're helpful to everyone. If you're looking to export, we have
So it's
connectivity
not
to
just
specialty
small, right?
advising,
We
right?
say small business, and I think that
Yeah.
typically narrows so it's all businesses.
Yeah, we turn no one away. Even if you're looking to start up a nonprofit, we can help you to a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
with it. But we always recommend people connect with our sister organization, which is SCORE,
Yep.
SCORE, SCORE, and check them out. And they have tons of resources as well.
Tell me about a story. So you've been with the SBDC, is it over 2 years now? Or almost two?
Almost, yeah.
So
A year
almost
and a
2
half,
years.
yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Tell me about it.
Now you're starting to be a senior at the
Uh,
SBDC at this point, like 2 and 3+ years. It's like there's new people now, right?
yeah, I'm a veteran now.
You're starting to vet.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about a story maybe that's stuck with you now, and obviously, not going to mention any names, but just a success story or success happenings that you're proud about.
Yeah. Now, I will mention this as my success story, and again, I'm not tooting my horn or anything when I
Yeah,
talk about it, but it's just something that I'm proud to be a part of. Is that statewide we have a barbering apprentice program. We've been talking about that through our SBDC networks, that we just started up statewide this year, where anyone who's interested in becoming a barber can go directly to a barber shop who's participating in that and learn from a barber there
that's
instead
cool.
of going to a barbering institution where you can learn but you don't earn, right?
Wow.
Uh, this way, through this barbershop apprenticeship program, you can earn while you learn.
Hmm.
And so, if let's say for me, I'm an adult, 3 kids, a wife, and I want to change my life. I want to, switch careers. Now it's easier for me to do that if I want to become a barber. So I can walk in, I can make a few dollars,
Yeah.
still earn, and be able to, do what I have to do to pass my tests and things like that. Um, but this initiative came out of a peer group that I started up in my area with barbers. So it was about 4 of us, and just approached them and talked to them about what would they like if we, how would they like it if we started up a peer group. They were with it, and so we've met a few times. Initially, I wanted to know what was on their minds, what were the challenges and things like that. And they said sometimes one of the bigger challenges is just the talent that comes into their shop, wanting to be able to cut hair and things like that. And they said when they get the talent, they're not up to par a lot of times.
Hmm.
They say sometimes you get some that they have to just reteach, right, and not just reteaching their way, just reteaching the basics that they should have learned already. And so that was an issue for them. And then that's kind of where we stuck at. We stuck at that point and kind of built around that to see what would be helpful. Long story short, got Southwest Indiana Workforce Board involved with Valerie Schmidt. They, through Work One, have an apprenticeship program. And, you know, she was intrigued when I told her about, the fact that the barbers wanted to look at some kind of apprenticeship to solve the
Awesome.
problem of the talent that they have or the lack of talent. And so long story short, I hate when I hear people say long story short because then it's even longer, right? But no, so next thing you know, the state passed legislation where you could have this apprenticeship program. The state of Indiana passed it,
That's awesome.
where people can go to the salons or the barbershops and learn from the barbers themselves. Um, all the stars are in alignment, bro.
Yeah.
And so with workforce, the state, and the barbershop peer group, everything just came together. Now this is an initiative that again is statewide, and 2 of the barbers who were in my peer group are the first 2 that are in this statewide
That's awesome.
initiative. So that's a success story.
That's awesome.
Again, just being able to put groups of people together
Hmm.
and just roll up your sleeves and see how you can problem solve, and if there are no problems, which is a good thing, but see what else you can work on together that
Mm.
can solve other problems perhaps, or be a value add to whatever. And so that again is the importance of what we do as navigators, again being out in the community, being able to touch people and positively affect them in the ways that they need to be affected by and not hinder.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So it's been a little over or almost 2 years.
Mhm.
How has working with entrepreneurs changed your own mindset or leadership style?
Let me think about that a little bit. So yeah, so actually that's a great question again. So what that has allowed me to think about differently when it comes to my leadership is to understand patience a little bit more, right?
Hmm.
A lot of times we think, oh, that's an easy fix, but sometimes it doesn't work like that. So you have to be patient in figuring out what does work,
Mm.
right? You can't just throw the first 2 things that have been working for someone else at somebody else,
Mm.
because a lot of times dealing with entrepreneurs is a case by case, right? Restaurant A is not the same as restaurant B,
Right.
even though they may make some of the same things, but it's still different. Understanding that and the patience and working with, you know, all the various entrepreneurs that we work with, because there's not a cookie cutter solution to none of this stuff.
Hmm. Love that. It's so true, right? I mean, everybody's different, even if they're in the same niche.
Right.
Like, they're going to have different people, and people are different, different logistics, different recipes, different working hours, right? So, patience is super important, and I say that as a dad of two young kids. I got 7 and 5.
Yeah, patience is a virtue, that's for sure.
It really is, and just I've been like, the practical ways to be more patient for me has been just allowing 30 more seconds. 20 to 30 more seconds. Something's frustrated me. Somebody says something. There's an annoyance happening. It's typically, if I give it a few seconds to just sort of be in it,
Right.
to then allow the time to process it in a grateful way. That this is another thing that sort of helped me, is just like, I get to do this. So just recently, I bought a flip property. It's over here on North Union Street in Kokomo. And I knew going into it was going to be a lot of communication. It's going to be a lot of work. The ROI is great, but I knew the ingredients, like in between getting to that ROI,
Right.
or the space there. I caught myself in the middle of it being annoyed and frustrated, right, with personnel. I've had to hire and fire quite a few folks that just weren't cutting the mustard, right? Weren't getting it done.
Yeah, it happens.
But in the past, it's like, I knew that I was going to learn, and I knew I wanted to build a team, because my personal goal is I'd like to do a flip once a quarter. But I need people, and I need systems, and I need the experience. So I caught myself in the middle of it getting frustrated one day, and I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. Took the few seconds I'm talking about, that 20, 30 seconds, to just think, you know what? I get to do this. One, I got a car. I'm driving to this location. I've got a vehicle. I've got eyes. I've got a brain. I've got feelings. I'm frustrated right now. Like, these are all, sort of thank God moments, where I get to do this. And I asked for this. Like, why am I tripping out now and being frustrated now? I just need to take a breath and sort of refine and redefine, like, how I'm going to show up in this situation, if I'm truly looking for a good return, right? Truly looking for a good ROI.
Right.
Because in those moments of frustration or annoyance, it's like, is this pain growing me? And that philosophy, like, that philosophy has helped me practically, like, in these moments,
it's
sort
growing
of like
pains.
Pause. Oh yeah. And you can be frustrated at you, or you can be frustrated at them, like, as you are going through them. Is that serving you? Are you growing in the pain? Are you progressing in the pain? And that's just life all around us, right? You go to the gym, it's a perfect example of this, of what I'm saying. It's like, you don't get a six-pack without a little bit of pain.
Right.
You don't grow biceps without tearing muscles and putting in that effort that hurts, and you're going to sweat, and you're going to be uncomfortable. But it's like, I feel like a lot of the folks that have seen massive success start to enjoy the pain of progress in a way. It's like they seek it, they understand it, they're familiar with it. And for new entrepreneurs, right, like, this is a new experience that of discovering, like, they're on the right track, and that feeling, the mental.
Yeah, no pain, no gain.
Right. That's a great, you see that at the gym often, right?
Right.
Like that sign. Well, man, I first off, thanks again for driving down. Even though you're a Michigan guy, you're used to the snow, you're used to the flurries and whatnot.
That's nothing.
That is nothing. What's one thing that, for the entrepreneurs listening to this, or the leaders listening to this, what's one thing that you just sort of want to leave them with, and then how do they connect with you again one last time?
There's many things that I can leave them with, but that'd be a whole nother show.
Yeah.
I will say the first thing that pops in my head is don't gatekeep. I believe that if you have information that can be helpful, then help someone with that information, right? And I understand maybe some resources are limited, things like that, then that's totally up to you. But I just don't like the fact of people having all the information and just hoarding it and keeping it to themselves.
Sure.
Right. Share the information. You can make the world a better place when you do, especially for an entrepreneur. If you come across a grant that you were able to get and it's still out there and abundantly available to others, share that information.
Yeah.
Even not sharing it just because of whatever, you just forget or whatever, just try to be cognizant to share those other resources because it's helpful for the economy.
Hmm.
The economy can grow from other businesses flourishing. It can help the middle class
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
so many things that could come from that,
Relationships. And I
yeah.
think fulfillment too, right? Like a lot of guys don't realize, or people in general don't realize the amount of fulfillment you'll get from
Yeah, it's
just
rewarding.
passing it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plant a tree, plant your own seeds.
Yeah,
Right?
listen, man. Come on, man. That's a seed that will continuously grow. You're paying it forward in a sense,
Mm.
And I like that because again, if you set an example of, hey, this is information I'm going to share with you, you share with others, and you see that happening, then you're growing something, and that can flourish and become a bigger thing than you can ever even imagine.
And the root of that is love, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Like it really is. The root of that is love. If I love someone, then I'm actively going to show that, right? Or share this loaf of bread or this resource that can help them in their journey or whatever. So at the core of what you're saying is just go love people,
Right.
which is huge.
Yeah, well, definitely don't hate.
Right. We don't need more of that.
Nah, but yeah, let the essence of that good deed come from a place of love, and when you start releasing things like that from that place and that space, then you'll see the fruits of that, and it's nourishing.
That's success. That's success, I think, man.
Yeah,
It's deep.
yeah, right.
That's super cool. All right, so
Yeah.
one last time, folks that are
Yeah.
listening to this, they want to connect with art and who you are, what you do, what you're doing out in Evansville or beyond, or as you continue to grow in your entrepreneurship life, as you continue to grow in your service to our state, with various services that you guys are putting on and whatnot. How do people reach you? List them all.
Yeah. All right. So again, I'll start with my website, Art McDonald. Not my website, my email. You can go to asmcdonald@sbdc.org, and you can email me. You can also go to our website at sbdc.org,
Yeah.
and you can check the southwest area of the map when you see it on the homepage. And then that will link you directly to our office. And again, you can see all our team members there and just connect, read and see what it is. Our office, the SBDC, whether it's here or nationally, is good for helping you wherever you are in your entrepreneurial journey. If you're looking to start, if you just have ideas, you don't know how to put them all together, then you get help from us for free. Yeah. Even if you're just trying to grow your business, you've been in business for 5 years already, and you're trying to grow, we help you with growing or sustaining. Even if you're tired of your business, you want to get out of it,
Right.
We can help you with evaluating your business and seeing if you are looking to sell or come up with a succession plan, however it is. So we can help you with all that. So I always tell people, and I'll leave with this, don't consider us as a one and done, SBDC, don't consider us as a one and done. Just consider us being a part of your whole journey, your whole business journey. And even if you're looking at starting another business or 5 other businesses, we're here for all of it. Right. So yeah, just don't be afraid to think we're limited. We're not limited. We're limitless when it comes to the help that we have. So yeah,
it's true.
Yep.
Thanks so much for coming down.
I appreciate
Looking forward
it,
to hanging out with you when we turn these cameras off.
Yeah. Let's hurry up and turn them off then.
Welcome to Howard County.
Yeah,
and,
appreciate it.
Thanks for being on, bro.
Yeah.